What up? What up? Welcome into another episode of Profit Picks. If you are new, we do always start the show by being transparent. And yesterday, I didn't have a good day. I went 3-3, so lost some juice. And the three winners, what were they? The Nuggets. I was happy with that one. Great call on the Nuggets there. The Bulls plus 4.5. Didn't even need any points. They went out right in overtime. And the Mavs team total under was a winner. First, the best bet for the show was a loser, which I was disappointed in. Pistons over. I was regretted that after seeing how they were playing. And it was one more I can't think of. I blocked it out already. So 3-3 day overall for me. Before I even pass it to Rob, I'm going to let you guys know. The chat, that might have been the worst day I ever seen from the chat. So I'm not even going to bother to do a recap. We just all going to try to do better today. How about that? Veno, please tell me you did better than the chat and I yesterday.
You know what? I actually split and lost a little juice, and it took the last two games of the day to come through for me in order to get that split. I had the Utah-Arizona State College game over, 144. It did get there, and I had in that Big Sky Conference final, I had the Montana team total under 75.5. Boy, they went dry for about an 8-9 minute period, and they did stay under. So those two got me home. So yeah, I think it was like 0.8 of a unit loss yesterday in that split. But you know what? When you can close the day strong and go away that easily, Skee, get off that easily, I think we'll take that into today. No problem.
And Rob, I'm trying to make sure I get the first comments because the people I know they're in here ready today because I let them know we're going to be doing $100 to the winner, and it's going to go to a member today. So I just want to make sure I didn't miss any comments in the chat before. But the first comment I see is 817. So you guys are up here bright and early. It was prolific in the house. It says it goes to a member, but I didn't see him make a guess. So maybe I missed it. Boofer, this is what I'm going to do. Boofer, I'm going to need, and I see it now when I'm looking at the YouTube chat. He says, Skee better look from the first comments. So Boofer, I'm going to need your help today. If somebody guessed it before 8:18, please help me out. Bryce says navy blue. And by the way, Bryce, I think it was you who guessed brown one day. And Veno said he doesn't own any brown. I know this one might look like brown, but this is not the brown shirt. So maybe we figured we would catch some of you guys cheating. Veno was on earlier. Maybe you guys were watching Veno this morning and thought you could be slick, but nope, not brown. A couple more. Let's see. Light green. No. Look. Everybody is cheating today.
Veno. It must come across as brown, but I even orange. No, that's not right. I even took the clip that Chris took from the show and posted on Twitter. It doesn't look brown to me. Of course, that day you sent it to me, it looked brown.
And we still looking here, Rob. It does look brown, absolutely. I definitely would not say it's gray, but still no gray guesses for gray yet. Maybe nobody has seen a gray yet, so they don't think gray exists. They forgot that gray was on the list.
Yeah, they got to check that list. They would never guess brown if they looked at the list.
If nobody gets gray today, I mean, we started at like 10:43. What am I gonna have to do? I'm gonna have to put some more on it for next time, or what? Hopefully somebody gets it here. It has to be a member too. When it's like $100, I need it to be a member. I want to get somebody paid. Come on now. Dark gray? Is it dark gray?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Dark
That's
gray.
it.
It looks like Dia. Dia is the winner for today. So I will double check and I'll have Boofer help me out too. Make sure nobody before 10:31 said dark gray.
Catch me out.
Yeah, Dia knows what's up. Dia's starting the morning off right. $100 winner. I know he knows what to do with that $100. So shout out to you, Dia, and appreciate everybody for the guesses. There was a comment from after the show, and here's prolific. Skee better look from the first comments. There was a comment after the show, Rob, and I figured I would talk about it a little bit because I really enjoyed the comment. So let me pull it up here. Um, maybe I'll start doing whatever comment stands out the most to me. We'll talk about it in the beginning of the show. But here we go. Our guy Joey. So Skee, since I'm the boss of 100 plus people, everyone in the office has to watch your show because I view it in the conference room on my lunch break. The girls who don't gamble want to know about that friend from the other night. They love me some Skee. My wife too.
All right.
I can't tell you. I got a nice, good laugh out of that comment this morning when I read it. And first, I have to say this: you guys know what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Come on now, I can't say too much, but since the girls ask, because it's the girls who don't like when you talk. The girls asked, I'll share a little something. I ran into an old friend, a friend I haven't seen for maybe 8 or 9 years, and we were good friends. We had a nice connection going, and we ran into each other. She's on a business trip, and wanted to get away from her colleagues. So it worked out when we bumped into each other and recognized each other, and had some drinks. Oh, this part is funny to me. You know, I'm at my spot all the time. You know where my spot is, Rob, which casino I'm at. And because I'm there all the time, I know a lot of people in there, whether it's the people who work there or just the people who hang out there. And the people, like I say what's up to, et cetera, et cetera. I'm sitting and talking and having a drink with this girl, and they're just coming by and sliding me drink tickets. They're like, "We got you, buddy." So shout out to them for having my back. But we had a few drinks. She wanted to go get something to eat. We did that, and we enjoyed the rest of the night. So that's what I'll say. That's what happened with that girl. And now, since we reconnected, when I go back home, we can hang out again. That's how it'll work. So that'll be the story time for Skee today. And I think that's enough with the comments. We'll get to some actionable info.
Yeah,
Some
that could have been
actionable.
actionable.
Oh, I'm scared to look at the comments. I want to look at it. I see them in there already now, but
taking me off the hook today, Skee. I can say whatever I want today.
Yeah, you're good. Dia says, "Is this a safe space?" All right, man. Let's the one thing I gotta add to this is just as honest as I am and transparent with betting, I'm honest and transparent with women, and I think they appreciate that. So that's why I'm able to have these situations when I run into them again. That said, we'll get to some actionable info. And first game up, I don't have the rotation order because I got distracted, but it's going to be Suns at Celtics. Currently, looking at a -5.5 as a consensus for the Celtics. It opened 4.5, so still up from the opener. Total though, it just dropped as much as 6 points here, Rob. So people thinking it's going to be a tougher, more defensive type game. As far as the injury report is concerned, and shout out to Joey too. I really appreciated that comment, and I always, you're my guy, Joey. For this game, Jaylen Brown is game time. Porzingis is out. For Phoenix, Eric Gordon is game time. Nazir Little is game time. Damian Lee is out. Okogie is out. And I can't help but think, Rob, it's two ways I think about this game. One, it's hard to trust the Suns. That's just how I view in general. They've covered one of their last 7 games. And the Celtics have been playing good. But the Celtics a little bit banged up here. And the Suns aren't usually catching points like this. You're getting them in a scenario where, they are expected to lose by multiple possessions. I'm really, really tempted to get there with the Suns. This is a game I feel like means more to them. I'll pull up the standings right here, Rob. I know Celtics don't really have anybody on their bumper, but the Kings currently are in the play-in. They're in the 7th spot. I mean, they're tied record-wise with the Kings, but maybe the Kings have the tiebreaker. So seeds 5 through, let's just say 5 through 8. They're separated by 1.5 games. So every game matters. This game is going to be extremely important for them. Might not be as important for the Celtics. So because of that, I'll lean Suns. How do you feel about it, Veno?
Well, I looked at it from the other angle. I looked at it from the total side, and I believe it came from 231.5 or whatever to 225.5. It tells me that people think Jaylen Brown's not playing. Game time decision. I don't think we know whether he is or not for real at this point in time, but I don't see any reason why it would have crashed that much without Jaylen Brown being in there. Of course, you had that to Porzingis. Boston home for the first time off a 5-game road trip. I think you like to fade teams in that spot. As much as Boston loves to play or to win at home, Jason Tatum has told us a bunch of times they've got a good home record this year. It is still one of those situations where you don't expect them to be at their best. And they just played a few days ago on that Boston road trip where the game went 117-107 in favor of Boston, but Devin Booker didn't play for the Suns. Devin Booker's now back, had a big game the other night, and you get Booker, Beal, and Durant all together. So the most sense I could make out of this from the angles I come from, Skee, was I want to play Phoenix team total over 110 points. Got the big three all in there. Jaylen Brown, if he does not play, as much of an offensive subtraction as that is, it's a defensive subtraction as well without him on the floor. And to me, Phoenix got to 107 in that game a few days ago without Booker. Feel like they'll get over 110 with him. I could get to game total as well. And I think if you do that, maybe you have to guess that Jaylen Brown's going to play. The previous game got to 224. They're asking us for 226 here. But I think the safest spot for me, and the one I played about 10 minutes before we came on air, was Phoenix over 110. So that's what I'm going to give you here. I think the Phoenix Suns offensively with those three guys, their big three all in the lineup here, get it done. Durant made some comments as to how much easier it is to play offense when Devin Booker's on the floor because of the intangibles that he brings in form of communication and stuff. I'll try Phoenix over 110 team total.
I was thinking that if Jaylen Brown and Porzingis are out, I was thinking, the defense is not going to be better with those guys off the floor. Definitely trust the Suns offense more than their defense. I think that's a solid look. Only thing is, I would hope Boston does not control the pace because they haven't been playing very up-tempo lately. So if I'm liking the Suns, though, I think I can get there with the Suns team total. One way or the other, we're leaning the same direction there. So next game up, we will go over to 503, 504, Washington Wizards and Houston Rockets. You're a Wizard, Harry. Wizards were an 8-point dog, 7.5 now, or actually 8 still out there. 226 was the opener, and it looks like 227.5. Bagley, Rashawn Holmes, Landry Shamet all out for Houston. Şengün, Whitmore out. Rob, I'm not laying this with Houston. It's just that simple for me. Washington, I mean, they haven't been as great lately in that road, but for majority of the year, and they're still 20, 12, and 2 as a road dog. That's really been their role. Houston, yes, you missed Şengün, and they played okay for that remainder of that game and maybe one more game, but it's gonna catch up to you. It's not gonna stay like that. And in this matchup, they can't really take advantage of the Wizards' weakness, right? Because they're gonna be small too. I think the Wizards can keep it respectable in this game. And I also think about, the comments that Kyle Kuzma said after they lost that last game. I forget who it was to. I think it was the Grizzlies with like 13 other 18 players or something, like not playing. Kuzma was like, yeah, we just disrespected the game, etc. Blah, 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 blah. So I think you get a good effort from the Wizards tonight. +8 be the only way I look. Do you agree? Or how are you looking at it, Rob?
Well, I'll start by saying this is the first one I scratched this morning because when I went through it, I couldn't find an angle that I liked in this game. Don't want to lay it with Houston for sure, especially without Şengün. And on the other side, Washington has covered 2 out of 3 recently, but I was looking at their total, Skee, this morning, and they've come down as far as what their final score results are. They've gotten lower and lower and lower over the course of the last few, and possibly because of the injury But we were dealing with Washington as a strictly over team earlier this season, not necessarily the case right now with who they're putting on the floor. But I do kind of agree that in a bet of the lesser of two evils, I would probably look at the Wizards side here. I'm always concerned about this race for ping pong balls at this time of season. With their 11 wins, Washington's, right amongst the teams that could get the most in the hopper and the number one pick possibly through that. But it doesn't mean you have to lose by 8 points every time. We see this year in, year out, these teams that lose games, they play you strong till the final 5 minutes or so, realize they're in the game, and then, let it slip away intentionally, so to speak. So I could see Washington sticking within the number here. I thought maybe the under could be a good look as well, even though it's going to be a game of small ball without a lot of rim protection. I still don't see Washington putting up a ton of offense as of late, but playing better defense. So those were just thoughts. They weren't selections, but the thoughts were potentially an under here and potentially Wizards plus the points. Yeah, there you go. 2 small lineups. Oh, I lost your volume, pal.
Did you hear anything I said there? What's the last thing you heard me say?
I didn't hear anything.
Okay. Well, my bad. Our guy Kyle likes he says 2 small lineups over 227.5 talked me into it. He's thinking the other way. And what I'll say about that is both teams have been playing with pace, but both offenses have been terrible. Granted, the Wizards defense is pretty bad, but Rockets are capable of playing defense. So this reminds me a little bit of the game that I lost on yesterday. I think you played it too, Kyle. Detroit, I forget who they played against now because I saw it was just disgraceful offensive performance. But Detroit game over and it didn't quite make it. That's what this one is reminding me of. They could play fast, but it could be hella bricks all game. So I can't get there with the over. Let me see. They're giving me a lot of they strike one because I muted myself. My bad, you guys. My bad. We'll move on. And there we go. Ronell helping me out. Toronto, who played Detroit. I thought that they could still get there when Quickly was rolled in, even though Trent Jr. wasn't, but didn't quite work out. Next game, 505, 506, and this is one I wanted to talk about. This is one I think is important to talk about. 505, 506 Clippers. Bulls opened up Clippers minus 6.5. They're a 6-point favorite currently. Total open 215.5 and down to 214. As far as the injury report is concerned, for the Bulls, Kobe White did get hurt towards the end of that game yesterday. Looks like he will be out today. Clippers, you have James Harden game time. You have Kawhi game time and Russ out. Now, Kawhi, I don't think he's playing. The man left the last game after the first quarter. He left the arena because he's having back spasms. That's not. It got to be something serious, or for him to leave the arena, I don't think he's going to be close to playing in this next game. That's just my thought process. Now, with that said, if you like the Clippers and you feel like I feel like he won't be out there, you should be waiting to play this game and getting the better of the number. I'll say this. The spot is absolutely the Clippers, 1,000%. The Bulls on a back-to-back off and overtime game, one of their main players hurt, etc. You have the Clippers on rest after blowing a game versus Minnesota. The spot is absolutely Clippers. But one thing we've learned, just let's look at it yesterday. It was supposed to be a Lakers spot, right? 2 days rest compared to 0 for the Kings, a game they need, the Heat in a revenge spot, etc. Just because it's a spot, and I talked about that. The Nuggets are just better than them. Just because it's a spot doesn't mean we automatically play it. So where my struggle is, Rob, Clippers haven't been playing the best basketball. If they're missing Kawhi, they're missing their best player. Whether they cover one of their last 5 games. And the main thing is they're not playing good enough defense. If you're going to win by any kind of margin like this, multiple possessions, I need to trust you to get stops. And I have the Clippers as a bottom 5 or bottom 5 or 6 defensive rated team post All Star. So that scares me to death as far as laying points with them. That's the only reason I really can't do it. And at the same time, the spots just say that the Bulls struggle to score, but I can't even bet Bulls team total under because I don't trust the Clippers defense. So, do you trust the Clippers? Can you talk me into backing them in the spot?
Well, I can tell you I'm going to get there. And I'm kind of the same opinion that you are, that I don't believe Kawhi is going to play, and I do believe the line will come down. How much it'll come down, I'm not sure. I did take a small bit of -6 earlier today. And if it comes in even lower, I'll go back and bet it again. I'll say this to you. If you don't trust the Clippers defense, then I'll tell you what I trust. I trust the fact that the other team is fatigued off of the overtime win last night, which was crazy the way DeRozan put that shot in to send it to OT. And I'll trust that the other team has, I don't know, 2 guys on the team that can shoot if Kobe White doesn't play. Who shoots on the Bulls? Aside from DeRozan and Kobe White, they just don't have shooters. They have defenders. They don't have shooters. You would need somebody to go absolutely crazy. So even a bad defense can get away with playing a tired Bulls team without Kobe White. That injury, Skee, I won't say it's as important, but I could say that it would be on the same level as Kawhi's absence. At least if you don't have Kawhi, you have Paul George and Harden and other guys out there that can score the basketball. You don't have Kobe White, who's been a big factor ever since Zach LaVine went out for the season. Kobe White's been the guy that's actually benefited from that as far as shot attempts, shot makes, points. All his numbers have gone up offensively. So I think you could equate that to being almost as important as not having Kawhi. Those two things being somewhat equal, I still like the Clippers. I think they're in a good spot. They beat this team by 10 just a few days ago, 112-102, and they weren't playing good basketball then either. So I'm going to try Clippers. I already have a small bit. I will try a bigger piece if we can get it down to 5 or even 4.5 with a Kawhi absence. Obviously, the Kobe White absence is already figured in for. And the fatigue is already figured in for. So all that's done with. All we're waiting on now is to see where the odds maker wants to go with Kawhi not playing if he doesn't.
Do you think James Harden is going to be out there?
I do.
Okay, so if James Harden is out, you don't really like them anymore.
Oh, no, I thought you said he's going to be out there on the floor. I think he's going to be on the floor. Yeah.
But if he's not, you still like the Clippers. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, if he's not, that makes a difference. I'm counting on 2 of the 3 being there, and I thought Kawhi would be the one that wouldn't.
Okay, fair enough. I feel the same way. I definitely would need James Harden in there, and that's why I'm in wait and see mode currently. Total though, I mean it's going down. Market is agreeing that should be an under game. I have systems that tell me to take the under. These teams just played and the total is lower. If you know what to do with that. And another one that I usually call and say, total is low for a reason compared to how these teams usually play. I really want to get there. We'll see if I do by the end of the day. I'll wait on that injury report because I truly believe Kawhi is not playing. Next game, we will go 507, 508. Philly and Milwaukee opened up Bucks -8.5, down to 7.5. Total open 223.5, and it looks like 220. Far as the injury report for Philly, they'll continue to be without Melton, Embiid, and Covington. For the Bucks, it looks like Giannis, he's probable. So is Beverly. Then you have Beasley and Marjan, both truly questionable, and Chris Middleton is out. So get my note sheet ready here for this one. What I'll say is the Bucks have covered 7 of their last 10 games. But I was talking this out with KC, and the Bucks, they just too focused on trying to get Dame and Giannis with this 2-man game. I feel like when they were playing a little bit better, when they were playing a better defense, whatever, it was when Beverly was getting a little bit more minutes. Yeah, Beverly game time decision here tonight. I just don't like what I've seen lately from the Bucks team the past few. So I'm not willing to lay points with that. Philly, As long as they got Maxey at this point spread range, I feel you have a chance. I lean towards the Sixers. How do you feel about it?
Well, it's hard to get anywhere near the Sixers right now. For me, team can't score 100 points in 3 straight games, and I think Tyrese has played in 2 of those 3. 95, 79, and 79. The Knicks are a good defensive team, but you can't score 79 points twice in a row in an NBA game. I mean, that's got to be your total after 3 quarters, not 4. So I don't know what to like about them as far as offense is concerned. They haven't shot 40% in 4 straight games. The whole thing's gone straight downhill for Nick Nurse and that team. Milwaukee's funny because generally, I just think back to the Charlotte games that Milwaukee's played, and it seems to me when they find an offense that they can play defense against, they tend to blow those teams out. So I would look Milwaukee's way. I'm kind of with you, though, in watching them aesthetically on offense, especially when I watched Damian Lillard. And I watched him at the All-Star weekend, and he looked like he hadn't missed a beat as a shooter. And I get there's no defense, but just plain old shooting the basketball, he looked great. When I watch him in these games, he looks like everything's a struggle to get any offense off for Milwaukee. So there's something weird with their offense. But again, I think opposition here probably dictates that they can hold Philadelphia low enough point production-wise to go ahead and cover this game. If I had to look Skee, I'd be on Milwaukee, especially off of that loss to Sacramento. I mean, your pal Glenn had a zillion excuses why they did what they did. None of them were really his fault, but I think the team probably could bounce back. What concerned me was this morning, all of a sudden, Giannis showed up on that injury report. Now you said he's probable, so that makes me feel a little better, and maybe I'll take a second look at the game. But I can't take the Sixers. I just can't take them.
All right. Rob can't take them. Some people in the chat leaning towards the Sixers, but the main play for the people are saying they like the Bucks first half. And let me see if I can get back up here where LJ says Bucks first half -4. He says they're 21-10-1 against the spread at home in the first half. So if you like them, maybe get in and get out. I'll be curious. I didn't. Do they have a game tomorrow? Something, or who is their next game is what I want to know for this Milwaukee team. That's something I would like to know for this game. So Milwaukee,
their next game is Phoenix,
and they get 2 days off after this game. It looks like,
right?
Yeah. Okay, so I'll look a little bit more into this one, but I'm leaning towards those Sixers. Let's see. Kyle says Skee switched the lineup because he's signaling that he's probably grabbing Philly alt line -7.5 plus 1,400, and he's selling. Yes, absolutely. Get better, you capper in the chat. Not feeling well. That's Mr. You Coffer. If you know, you know. All right, we'll move over to the next game. That is Mavs and Thunder. Opened up Thunder -6.5. This one is all the way up to 11. A lot of love for OKC. It makes sense because we'll talk about the injury report in 1 second. Total came down from 242 to 235. And Luka the Don will miss this game. And it looks like Brandon Williams is probable. For OKC, they don't have anybody on the injury report. This is an OKC team who has only covered 1 of their last 5 games. But after losing to those Pacers, and getting Jalen Williams back in the lineup for this one at the house, I have to think that they really bring it in this game. Mavs without Luka, not a whole lot to like there. I'll tell you this, Rob. My first thought was OKC team total over. Just really fading that Mavericks defense. But then I thought, if Luka's not playing, the defense is going to get a little bit better for a Dallas team. So maybe I trust OKC on the point spread because they've still been a top 3 defensive rated team post All-Star. So if I trust their defense and their offense, they do the things I like well. They're number 1 3-point shooting team. They defend the 3 solid. I think OKC can lay the points. Can you talk me off?
I can't, but I want you to define a little bit better where Dallas defense is concerned.
Luka plays absolutely 0. So I think the next guy up in line is going to play more than 0.
Okay, so maybe it's Tim Hardaway Jr. Maybe it's Dante Exum, maybe. I don't know, because I was nodding my head because Oklahoma team total was my first thought in this game. Dallas is off a game last night. They don't play defense anyway. Back-to-back nights, their defense probably won't be good. And OKC runs up points. This is not a team that in the last 4 minutes of a game, when they already have 125, stop scoring. Some teams do. They really don't. They just keep scoring, doing what they do. It's kind of what I like about Coach Dagnall and the way he runs this team. Just let them play 48 minutes the way they play. I was hoping that maybe it would come down even a tick lower, but 123, over 123 to me is probably still doable. However, to your point about side, at 10.5, I looked. At 11, I might still look. I could not talk you off because Dallas, they're on a pretty good winning streak. My first thought was maybe they'll mail it in without Luka, but Kyrie tends to take over. When he's the guy on the court, I think if you're playing player props tonight, you want to be on Kyrie because he'll get his and he'll do well. Every time Luka's out, he seems to do that. But I can't trust the Dallas defense to keep Oklahoma City to under 123. So I think that would be my primary play there. OKC team total over.
You'll remember this, Rob. And maybe, I don't know if we trust Kyrie. Jeff says Luka is out and Kyrie is hungry.
Literally. It's Ramadan.
Yeah. Yeah. You remember this? Yeah. We've talked about this in past years. I don't know how much energy you might have tonight. That's all I'm saying.
Skee, it's so funny because about a week ago, I looked up the dates of Ramadan purposely for this. And then I just totally forgot about them until it was just mentioned there. So thank you, chat, for reminding me. I had that thought a while back. Let's look and see when Kyrie's going to start to need some food.
On a back-to-back? Come on now. Yeah. He's going to be exhausted tonight.
Right. I mean, less defense.
There you go, even less defense. So we're looking more towards that OKC side. Manny says it's high for a reason. SGA points. Well, we know he's going to gun for 30. I'm not sure what number they're giving out, but he even in that last game when it didn't even matter versus the Pacers, he fouled so he could run back down the court and score a layup so he can get 30. So you know he's going to try to get 30 at least. They probably have it above 30 by now because of that reason. Let's see. Yes, he is still fasting. Oh, Nucky says that doesn't apply for night games. Is that what? I gotta look more into it. We'll see.
Right.
I gotta look more into this one. Maybe after. Wait.
It's after sundown, right?
So sun will be down. Very true.
Yeah.
Okay. I do remember like halftime he would go have a snack sometimes. I think it was him, or it might have been somebody else, but I do remember them doing that. So good stuff from the chat. Next game, last game, it looks like. Damn, we got to the card pretty fast here. Last game in association. Knicks and Blazers. Opened up Knicks -8. They're a 10.5 point favorite currently. Total open 211.5 and is down to 205. Injury report for New York. Mitchell Robinson and Randall continue to be out. OG did come back. Knicks look damn good. Knicks play defense. What a coincidence. Portland, they'll be without Sharp and Brogdon. Looks like Jabari Walker and Jeremy Grant are both game time decision here tonight. The Blazers here on a back-to-back against a Knicks team who hasn't been that great lately, but I mean, all that can change. They're getting as healthy as they're going to be for the near future. And they got their guy back who made all the difference at the trade deadline. So I don't want to be it's tough. The Blazers have been playing good. You know, they've covered 6 out of 8. Obviously, Knicks have rest advantage. And the Knicks all year long have beaten up on these less than teams when healthy. So they're more than capable of covering this number. I can't bet the Blazers here in this spot. It will be Knicks or pass for me. And as far as the total is concerned, neither team playing with pace. In fact, post All-Star, the Knicks are the slowest playing team. Portland bottom 10 as well. And both teams bottom 10 offensive rated teams in the same span. Knicks, though, top 5 defense. And both teams I'll say the Blazers actually top 10 defending the 3 and not the Knicks. So I think we'll get more defense than offense here. even though the total has gone down, even though it's low, I still couldn't play it over. Portland team total under kind of makes me think like that, but I know it's going to be like what 96 or 97, 96, 97 and a half. That makes me a little bit nervous, but still think it can hit. So, how do you feel about this one, Vino?
Yeah, the total. I think we probably missed the boat where any type of value is concerned. Now you're betting that total under. Um, in my opinion, at least, to put yourself through a sweat job tonight. 211.5 was way too high for this game. Where side is concerned, a couple of reasons to like the Knicks. The one reason not to like the Knicks is, the 10.5 price. Who the heck wants to lay double digits? But I will put a couple of intangibles to it. You already put one. The Knicks are a bully type basketball team. It's mentioned all the time by you when I'm on here with you that they beat sub 500 teams, and above 500 teams are a little bit tougher for the Knicks. We'll see what happens when they get their full roster back, if that holds true or not. But I would say this is the first game for the Knicks of an important 4-game West Coast road trip with OG back in the lineup. And you're right. The other night, he and Brunson together looked fantastic against Philadelphia in that second matchup between the two. So I think Thibodeau has the guy he wants back for the time being in Anunoby to get the team focused on a little bit of defense. And I think first game, my feelings on first game of a road trip. I just think that teams get off the plane with that mentality of let's go, in the Knicks case, 4-0 on this road trip. Let's go. And in the beginning, the maximum effort is there. The focus is there. I think it will be for the Knicks tonight. And then there's the other case of the Knicks hanging on by a thread to the fourth and final home court floor playoff spot. They're fourth right now, but they're only a half a game ahead of Orlando. And for the Knicks to lose MSG, at least for one round, as a home advantage, I think would be huge to them. So they have to stack wins where they can get winnable games. This is one of those. Question becomes, can they win by 11? If Portland's offensive line, if Jeremy Grant doesn't play tonight, and his injury, the hamstring, is kind of the same as Luka's. So I don't think Jeremy Grant goes here. Gives you one less score in this game. I'd probably lean Knicks, Skee, honestly. After holding Philadelphia to 79 in 2 straight games, maybe they can hold Portland to like 90, 92, and you walk away with one of those 104 92s and get a cover here. But I would only look Knicks.
All right, so we're in agreement with that. A lot of people also like it Knicks and under or Portland team total under. There was some good stats shared here. Chris on that Portland team total under, he put Knicks, but I know he means Portland, saying how the Knicks have done well in this spot here, and also said the Knicks 12-3 against the spread with OG this season, winning by an average of 15 points per game. Kyle, though, impressed with Portland last night, says they're looking healthier, playing defense. Got me scared to lay with the Knicks here, to be honest. May even grab some plus 10.5. So people feeling a lot of different ways, and we'll just have to see how it shakes out. Right now, he says, forget the side, we're going with the under. I think we did a solid job on the NBA. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit not my usual for this morning, but I still think we did a good job. I want to ask you about a little bit of college before I let you go here, Rob. Is that cool?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So you know where I'm looking at on the card first. Every time I turn to the college section, I'm looking for one team initially, and they're on the schedule today. So we have, and I could actually get to watch them. T-Mobile Center? No, that can't be here.
It's in Kansas City.
Okay, we have a T-Mobile Center too, or T-Mobile Arena, or T-Mobile something.
But I got you excited.
I was gonna definitely be over there. TCU and Houston. Looks like it opened up Houston -9. Got bet up to 11 or 11.5. Total has come down from 138 to 137. I would like if you could talk to me about TCU a little bit here, because I know what Houston's going to do. I know pretty much no matter where they're playing, who's on the court, Kelvin Sampson is going to have those guys ready to play. and specifically in the first half. They win games with good defense. They got, one of the best players in the nation, if not the best, in Shed. And the big man is pretty good too. I kind of blank out right now on his name. So I know what I'm getting from Houston. Can we trust them in the first half today versus TCU?
Well, let me just start with this. I was with our good friend Ralph Michaels yesterday, and he asked, does Skee any college basketball? I said, have you never talked to that man? I said,
Ralph was there that first day too.
If the Houston Cougars are on the board, then Houston first half is in play and he's firing. They played this team once already this year, Skee, at TCU, and Houston lost 68-67. So Kelvin Sampson
right there.
after he gets beat by somebody.
We saw it versus Kansas.
Yeah, and I would add this to it. A lot of times in these Power 5 conferences, if you have your spot locked in the NCAA tournament, if you're an ACC team, if you're an SEC team, one of these teams, that has it locked, sometimes coaches tend to go through these tournaments a hair bit soft because they want to keep their legs and their players healthy for the actual tournament. Where Houston's concerned, it's their first year in this upgrade into the Big 12. They won the regular season, and Kelvin Sampson's mentality. First year in, I want to win the whole thing. So I trust them. It's going to be interesting to see. They're always shorthanded because they play short rotations. But like we talked about the other day, when you have 4-minute commercial breaks in all these games, you can use short rotations because everybody's getting a rest every 4 minutes. So I think motivationally they're there from the standpoint that they want to win this tournament. And Kansas already eliminated from this thing. This is the number 1 rated conference in the country. So for Houston to win the regular season, the conference tournament, that'd be quite the achievement. The revenge factor that I talked to you about, and TCU plays more of a open court, offensive minded game under Jamie Dixon, which you know how that goes. Houston's defense can sometimes swallow teams of that nature. You have to be tough nosed and physical with Houston. TCU got away with it the first time at home. I don't think they get away with it here. Houston's been bet up. What I see, is it up to 11? What would you say the price was on this?
Yeah, 11 or 11.5.
Yeah. But first half is probably 6.5 or maybe less, maybe 6. And they may just be, what they did to Kansas in revenge. Obviously, it's not their home court here today, but I could see Houston coming to play. So I would look their way if I had to play it. TCU is a really, really good basketball team, but I just don't know that they get it done here against this team in this situation.
Didn't TCU just play recently? More recent than Houston, or am I mistaken?
Yeah, well, TCU played yesterday because they were in the first round of the tournament. They had to play Oklahoma.
So rest advantage Houston.
Yes.
They're off of a loss as well. They lost to this team last time.
To this team, right.
I have to think Houston first half, maybe even Houston full game, but I'm usually their first half team. So I like it. I think it's worth a shot today. There were some comments in the chat here, Rob. I know you got to get going. Is there anything else you want to share in the college? Maybe comments on Kyle likes Ole Miss plus 4.5. Daniel says UCLA or Oregon over. Daniel likes Ohio State money line. Any of those catching your attention? Maybe Arizona minus 9.5.
I'll say real quick to Kyle's comment, I'm on Ole Miss as well. I got plus 5, so I think that was I thought the best underdog on the card here. We'll see how that goes. Chris Beard just got an extension. A lot of times when you extend your coach right before the conference tournament starts, it's a real boost. Hopefully it is for Ole Miss here. There was one more in there that it was the Ohio State game, because I've been following Ohio State since the coaching change. I've been more subjected to looking at totals than the side, but Ohio State has really improved. And again, I was talking with Ralph yesterday, who's an Ohio guy, and to the both of us, the improvement level in Ohio State for the 5 games that Jake Diebler's been coach is unbelievable. So I could see Ohio State For Iowa, real quick, for anybody looking to bet that game, it's just not the same team where shooters are concerned. As far as consistency goes, they usually have 3-4 3-point shooters that just keep draining it and draining it and draining it. And a lot of times when they get outside Carver Hawkeye, they're a little bit different. But Ohio State has gone to this style of, I'd like to call it like Pete Carrill from Princeton back in the late 80s and 70s when they don't go to the defensive glass. Like they take a shot and immediately run backwards to stop your transition. And if you start slowing Iowa down, they're just a different team. I think Ohio State's probably a good bet. So two of those comments I really like. I didn't look too much into the Oregon UCLA over, but Ohio State and Ole Miss I think are good spots. Check.
All right, good stuff.
Revenge games.
Good stuff from Rob Veno there. And yeah, UCapper sent me something to back up how I'm feeling about Houston. Off the top of your head, Rob, do you know how long Kelvin Sampson has been there?
Oh, quite. I'm going to guess every bit of 10 years.
10 years? Okay. So I know like the last 7 is what I'm looking at here from where UCapper sent me. This season, they've been really good, but the last maybe 7 seasons, when they're in this revenge situation, same season revenge, they show up, looks like first half and full game. So, and they usually play a good defense. Looks like those games stay under. So Houston Houston maybe even first half full game and under. About that time, Rob, I know you got to go. Best bets. Is there anything? Well, you guys in the chat know what to do. Drop your best bets. Put best bet next to it. The line or number you're getting for the best bet, and no more than 2, please. And we'll come back and talk about it again tomorrow. But Rob, is there anything you would like to promote, and maybe a play that you like a little bit more than the rest?
Yeah, and real quick, I will let you know Kelvin Sampson has been there since 2015. So it is exactly 10 years. This is 10th season. So yeah, he's been there quite a while for Houston. Real quick, for those who aren't currently members of Wagertalk.com, just hop over to that website, Wagertalk.com, and drop your email address. You get instant access to all the video and written content that's provided each and every day. And this is the time of year where you want to be on top of things. These games seem to fly right by you. You go to bed, another one's on. It's kind of crazy. So go ahead and visit wagertalk.com. And like I say, you can get free access to all of that video and written content. And plus it's $5 customer appreciation day over there. So you can pick up a play from any of the handicappers, myself and Skee included. There'll be a play listed over there for just $5. So mine's it's in college basketball today. You can pick it up right now, wagertalk.com. For purposes of the show, Skee, I'll leave you with where we started. I think Phoenix team total over 110 is a really good spot here tonight. Boston back home off of the long road trip. Devin Booker in the lineup. They got to 107 against Boston a few days back, even without Booker. The quotes I read from Durant and how much he loves playing next to the guy and how much easier offense is. And again, if Jaylen Brown doesn't go, it just hurts Boston's defense. Maybe not as much as their offense, but it hurts it. And when you added Porzingis to the mix, this would be his 4th straight game. I think he would miss those 2 guys. Defense can't get better. So give me Phoenix over 110 for the team total tonight is best bet for the show.
Good stuff. I like it. And I'm not going to shout out everybody in the comment section, but I did put some best bets up there on the screen. If you're watching on the replay, you can see these comments. All you do is go to where it says comments. You swipe over, click live chat replay, and it'll auto-populate like you're watching the show live. So for my best bet, it's going to start. I'm going with college. It starts in 30 minutes. We're going Houston. First half. Best number you can get right now is 6. And I'm putting that in my pocket. We talked about a lot of reasons why. I think them boys come out ready and firing. So, Rob, appreciate you joining me. And I will have another show with Wham Bam, Babano, and Dutch at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So I'll catch you guys then. As always, appreciate everybody in the chat. The show is absolutely nothing without you guys. Best of luck if you tell. Good luck on all of your action if you don't. All your action regardless. And we'll catch you guys later.